Hello, everyone. And let's see. It looks like everything is working. I hope. Always fun with technology, right? I hope you guys can hear me. I have a new microphone, so if you are on, please let me know if you can hear me. Thank you very much. Okay, let's see. So let's roll over here. It's very different doing lives, right? Okay. Alrighty. Woo! All right. So today, amazingly enough, is episode 25. It's been I've like done 25 episodes. And it all happened in November when I opened up an email and challenged myself. Oh, looks like I'm having issues. This is great. Yeah. Well, I'll see. I'm going to keep going. And if you guys have any questions about this show, then please let me know. Because, yeah, it's telling me my internet is unstable. I'm feeling a little unstable myself at the moment. Okay. Anyways, yes, if you have any questions or couldn't hear me or anything, please let me know. So, like I say, it's been 25 years. 25 years. Good grief. Oh boy, 25 episodes. I started in November. My goal was December to start a live show on December 5th, which I did. And I've called my show We're Here for the Human Experience. And I appreciate you all being here with me. If you do not know me, I am Lisa and I'm a certified life coach. I specialize in mindset shifting. I'm a Reiki master teacher. I'm certified in meditation. I'm also an empath, a light bearer, all those kinds of fun things. And I help people help themselves, actually. I help people help themselves. So my journey started in 2009, and at that time, it was like total mental stress for me. And I knew that I needed to learn to look at my inner narrative, the beliefs that were running on repeat, and how my emotions affected it all. Honestly, simply put, I didn't like who I was and how I felt. And I knew I needed to focus on myself. And because of what I've learned and how it made me feel, I started to share and help others recognize their beliefs, patterns, and behaviors that are unfavorable or unhealthy or distressing. Distressing? Yeah. I help you connect with your negative patterns and emotions that have created this repetitive feedback loop of why does this always keep happening to me scenarios. Doesn't matter what it is. Why does it always keep happening to me? We learn generational patterns. This is why it keeps happening. So we learn generational patterns and we keep them repeating because we don't always recognize them as a pattern or even how to make the changes, even lasting changes. So I help people learn how to recognize those patterns and the held emotions, and we work with them to transform them into better ones. And that's what I've done for myself and others. Because of, like I said earlier, is because I didn't like how I was feeling, what I was seeing, and I knew that I had to go right inside here. So that's what I did. And so then as I started to do that, it was just like, oh my God, this is mind blowing. We have all this power that we can actually change our lives and make positive changes and not have to keep going in the same rut or neural pathway that we do. So what I've witnessed in many people is it's a release of stored trauma. I've done it for myself as well. I like to practice what I teach. So it's a releasing of stored trauma, it's a shuffling of viewpoints, it's an ease of anxiety, so less anxiety. It totally provided me with tools to rebalance and harmonize myself when I was stressed out. And ultimately, we cannot change what we don't know. So I don't really know what's my pattern or why things keep repeating. I need to ask myself. And how do I do that? Well, I just sit down with myself and I ask me, myself, and I, what's going on with me? Most people have these crazy epiphanies that happen when they do, when, that awareness comes through. I've done it myself. Like I said, I like to practice what I teach. And so the epiphany, what everybody usually says is, I never thought about it that way. They feel less pressure and actually take a deep breath of awareness, and pieces of their lives start to click together. And that's how it was for me. It was just like, oh, wow, I didn't think about it like that. If I think about it like this, then that gives me a new perspective. And then I have a different choice of how I want to flow in my life and how I want to create my life and what my intentions are, instead of having those repetitive thoughts. Most people don't even believe that they have control over what they think, so which is totally untrue. That's not true. You are the gatekeeper of your thoughts and emotions and the creator of your life. So if you're allowing other people to influence your thoughts without actually discerning, then you feel like you don't have any control over your thoughts. Take control of your thoughts, recognize the thoughts. It's hard to believe that some people think that, but they do, and that's because we're here for the human experience, and we are here to experience as many things as we possibly can. I personally would like to experience more intentional creation in my life than stuff just happening. And now that I know how to do that, it's a lot funner. It is a lot funner. So we are the gatekeepers of our life. We are in control. We can be in control of our thoughts and emotions. We have that choice to be either sad, happy, mad, or glad. It is our choice. So I ask you, have you ever noticed that a positive or negative thought can lead to similar thoughts, and our body will totally react to the with the appropriate emotion? So if I'm feeling happy, or I walk into a space and I'm feeling happy, then my body feels happy and everything is happy, right? We know that vibe. We also know that when we walked into a place or been with people, places, or somewhere, and our spidey senses kick in, and we know what we need to do there. And usually we're really good at the spidey senses that, oh yeah, no, this isn't a good spot for me. We know those. We want to recognize those, of course, but we also want to recognize the good feelings too, because that's super important, because it is building that awareness within ourselves and bringing the focus back to ourselves, which is super important because we spend so much time focused on the external world, focused on just things outside of ourselves. And when we can be more conscious, more focused on ourselves, we feel less tired, less anxious, less stressed out. We can actually look at our lives and process it a lot better when we are focused on ourselves and getting right down to the issues. And so we know when our spidey senses kick in and it's like, okay, yeah, no, this isn't a good spot for me. The opposite is true when we feel good as well with people, places, and things. Like things just start to click. You know those feelings. So that is your spidey senses. That is your gut. That is your intuition advising you. Hey, pay attention to me. Super important. We want I shouldn't say we want. I wanted that. So what I help people do is to find that as well, because I know that's what you want. People are looking for that inner wisdom, the guidance that comes from within, and yet we search for it outside. And I got to say, I had to as well to search how to to connect with myself more, consciously connect with myself, and not just be like, Oh yeah, I listened to my intuition, and I did, and I didn't. I'm thank goodness with the red flags or things like that. We listen to our intuition, our spidey senses. But how can we do that more consciously? By asking ourselves, what is bugging us? We want to know what our struggles are. Like, we know what we have, that we know we have struggles, but now I want to know that I struggle with my weight, or I want to know that I struggle. I want to call it out. My health, my wealth, my whatever, relationships, it doesn't matter. It's everything, because we are here for the human experience, and it is that gathering everything up that's within ourselves and building that connection and allowing what needs to stay and dumping what needs to go. So noticing these moments, we want to notice these moments, the good ones, the bad ones. Definitely we want to notice our struggles, because those are the ones that we want to work on. So by noticing these moments, it brings our focus back into us. Like I said earlier, and in numerous videos, we spend a lot of time in the chaotic world, like the big world, or even just in our own realm, in our own world. So we want to notice that, because it's building that connection, bringing the focus back into us, and just giving our body that, yeah, I know, here I am, I'm okay. It's checking in with ourselves and asking, how am I feeling? So why do we want to notice these feelings and thoughts? It is, of course, well, to change our patterns and to not have those things keep coming, but to change our neural pathways, beliefs, and patterns that keep us stuck. I like to think of it as, if I was stuck in the ditch in my vehicle, I've, I've, I have been stuck in the ditch a couple times in my vehicle, um, and I'm not going to stay there. And so our thoughts are like that as well. I like this analogy of it. It's that I'm not going to stay in the ditch, because people are going to drive by me and ask, hey, do you want some help? And of course, I'm going to say, yeah, let's get out of the ditch. Let's get out of this rut, because I'm not sitting in my car. And with our minds and our thought, though, we will stay in that rut, the neural pathway, because it has created that a neural pathway, and we don't know how to get out of it. Being stuck in the car in the ditch, we know how to get out of it, but in our lives sometimes we don't. So by recognizing our thoughts and our feelings, that helps us get out of the ditch of our life, and that creates also new neural pathways, which is awesome, because I don't want to keep in that same negative thought pattern, the same repetitive loop, the same energy. I don't want to do that. So I want to get out of the neural pathway of the rut that's in my head. And so that's what I started doing. And so, if we have these beliefs about, food, is it a family belief? Is it my belief? Is it helpful? Is it not helpful? These are some of the things that I want to ask myself around my struggles. How do I feel and think about my job? Right? That's what I want to ask myself, and I want to be honest with it, and I don't need to sugarcoat it. I'm asking myself these questions because I want to get to the root of it. Where do I feel stuck, right? What is it? And when we ask ourselves where I'm feeling stuck, let's say with our job, then, write it down, get it down onto a piece of paper. It clears it out and gives us that, here it is, I can actually look at it better. So what am I looking at? What do I like about my job? What do I don't like about my job? What can I change about my job? What can't I change about my job? What can I change about myself? Because it always comes back to us. What can I do about my situation, my neural pathways? What can I do? And that's where I ask myself the questions and connect in with that inner wisdom. That is using my spidey senses, not just for the red flags. I want to see the green flags. I want to see the yellow flags, right? I want to be more conscious and aware within myself and make these better choices for me. So if I feel stressed about whatever, insert the blank, what is going on about that? Break it down. I hate what's going on in my life right now. I've heard lots of people say that. It's like your whole life or just bits of your life. Most of the time, it's just bits of our life. It's usually not the whole life. Lots of people will say, I don't feel I can fix it. It's probably just because you don't have the tools. You can't build a house without a hammer. You can't get out of the ditch without the right tools. And what else? And some people say, I don't know where to start. I get it. I did not know where to start either. And somehow some information came to me and said, hey, what do you think about this? I never thought about it that way. I said to myself, I need to pursue this and have a little look around at my struggle and start to dig myself out of the ditch. Because yes, there's people to help you dig yourself out of the ditch, your mental, your physical, emotional stressors. Of course there are. But ultimately it still comes down to you, because you are the one that has to make that decision, that has to stay the course and help yourself out of that neural pathway. So ultimately the process is about asking and feeling where I feel stressed and stuck. I want to ask those questions. And I mean, I can hear some of you go, well, it's obviously a no-brainer. I'm stuck here or I'm stressed here. Yeah, I get that. Now write it down and break it down. Break it down into smaller bits. As the saying goes, how do we eat an elephant? One bite at a time. It's the same thing with our thoughts. And if you don't want to stay in that rut, that neural pathway, because when we're in that neural pathway as well, not only does the neural pathway keep us in that rut, also the chemicals that go on in that are exchanged within our body because of the thoughts and then the emotions and the emotions and the thoughts, and it just creates this repetitive feedback loop of stress until we decide to, like, this is done and I'm out. But it's asking yourself the question, where am I? And take it down to the macro level. Take out all the external noise of it and break it down for yourself. And write it down. I can't stress this enough. I didn't used to write. I didn't. I've journaled before. Then I stopped journaling. Then I started journaling again. And I got to tell you, it is awesome to journal or to get that stuff out of my head. Because what happens is when I get it out of my head, it helps me to see clearly. I can actually now see what is my troubles. What is the stuff that I don't actually need to think about or look at, because it's all just pouring out of there. Write it down and write down absolutely everything. What you feel and think about the situation. All the negative and the positive. Because we want a nice little picture of what's going on in that struggle or that stressor for you. And it doesn't have to be in any order. It doesn't have to be good spelling or anything like that. It is just you are dumping for clarity. Dumping for clarity. So that is huge. And I tell you what, it has helped me immensely. And anytime I'm really finding like having a struggle or a stressor, I will write it down. What do I know about this? What can I control about this? What are my options? What are my choices? And I just go through the gamut of whatever wants to dump out at that moment. Sometimes it clears it all up depending on what the stressor is, and sometimes it might be a bigger stressor, and I might have to just come back to it. Well, that's okay. We're here for the human experience, right? So let's have these experiences. We cannot make changes if we cannot look at what is bothering us. No work order, no worky, right? And no, sometimes it isn't easy. It isn't easy. And it can take a mindful practice to stay on course. And depending on your situation, it may have a boatload of trauma drama momentum, which can take longer to release and organize. And that's okay. Like I said, because we are here for the human experience. We are emotional beings having this human experience. So it isn't about judging. We don't want to judge it anymore. We don't want to blame or shame it. We just want to know what it is so that we can transmute it, transform it into something that's actually going to be better for us, right? I want better for you. I want it better for me. This is so, because we don't have to be so struggly on this planet or plane, depending on how you want to look at Earth. So, when we are compassionately observe our feelings, we totally begin to transmute our heavy emotions. And by becoming aware of our thoughts and emotions regarding the struggle, the stressor, the stuckness, that's power. And we gain that power through how we respond and react. We have a choice. Being more intentional, just setting the intention. If it doesn't matter if you set 5 intentions throughout the day, that's important. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it. It's about getting out of that rut and helping yourself out of the rut. Recognizing the issues is the first step and choice in your reaction or response. It's about a choice. I can be happy, sad, or mad. It's entirely up to me how I want to, what's my state of being. Yes, do some things tick me off? Absolutely. For sure they do. That's okay. If we look at it and go, well, everything's here for that, for our learning, then yeah, okay, so it ticked me off. What about that? Do I need to know about that? That's all. I'm just going to ask myself the questions yet again. What is it? What do I need to know? And sometimes it's just like, pink, out, whatever. It depends on your stress and your stuckness, right? It's about discerning for yourself, bringing your energy back in, connecting with yourself, asking yourself the questions. What do I like and what do I don't like? When we combine our thoughts and feelings, it is like this epiphany of that inner knowing. It's a total release. You can feel it. I felt it. Like I see it with people on a regular basis. It's that, oh, I never thought about it that way. Oh, that changes things. Oh, okay. And you can just see the wheels spinning and turning. And I totally experience that myself. Absolutely. You feel the shift and you feel that you are in alignment and in the zone. And the more you bring the thoughts and the emotions together, the better you feel, the more you create with confidence than ever. Because you're connecting your higher self, your wisdom, your intuition. What should I do today? Ask. So, I hope that gives you a little clarity on using your spidey senses. Our spidey senses our spidey senses are our intuition. It's that knowing, and we can use it in both ways to direct intentionally our life, to create our life, to get ourselves out of a rut and get ourselves into a new path. So when you are feeling out of control, just remember to take a deep breath. Just take a deep breath. Regroup yourself. You do not have to allow your thoughts and emotions to take control. You are in control, and everything is a choice. Thanks for joining me today for episode 25 of We're Here for the Human Experience. Join me June 25th at 3 p.m., where we will navigate the matrix of our mind, body, and spirit